Hello and welcome back, everybody, to PyBytes YouTube. And it's Monday, so happy new week, new chances. Go crush it. Comment below what Python you're working on. Always happy to hear. And yeah, I was a bit strapped for time today, to be honest. So I'm going to do a quick video how I used ChatGPT last week to write some boilerplate Django code. It's not really necessarily Django video. It's more about the approach and how I use those AI tools these days in my workflow. It's going to do a little Vim, but that will be tomorrow probably. I need a little bit more time to prepare that. We have other videos coming up, imports. I think I will do a little bit of match case, the new case statement of 310 as requested. And yeah, a lot of good stuff. So make sure you subscribe and let's dive straight in. Okay, so here's the chat in question. And yeah, so this is for the platform. There's already a bunch of models, and yeah, I was always so we want to do exercise promos, right? And I was always doing that manually through the admin, and it was a bit involved, right? So what if you have? I thought like, what if you have a Django command that can just do it from the command line? Because then I can make a shell alias. By the way, you can check out this video to get more tips on writing good shell aliases. That will save you a lot of time. So yeah, the amazing thing about ChatGPT is it understands, you can give it code snippets and it can reason about it, right? I gave it the existing byte promo model. So again, that's a model to make promotions for exercises. So it links to the byte exercise as a foreign key, and you set an expiration date, and then it's and a unique code or URL slug. And then that will make a promo for that exercise for a certain amount of time, right? So I asked it to make a Django command to make a new promo. Each column would be a command line argument. Not sure how datetime can be a command line argument, though. You see, I can actually be pretty casual in my language, and it understands it. So that's really amazing. So it came already at the first go with some code that was really workable, right? So we have a Django command. By the way, see this video, how to make a Django command. I explain all about it. And yeah, so we have the 3 columns as I asked for as command line arguments. By the way, I didn't even have to put this in triple quotes. It just, it was really good at extracting the code from the text, right? And then the handle you overwrite typically for a command parses the command line options. It gets the byte exercise. It calculates the expiration date, and then makes a byte promo object. Now, I would do this differently, and we'll see in my final solution how. So I would do byte promo.object.create. But this is all valid code, right? This just passes, works on the first go. It then explains how to run this. And of course, yeah, I was a bit like, this is not very easy to the user. And that's also where I didn't really have to design, figure it out myself. So I went back and forth a little bit. How can you make the expiration date required? Because it was optional and you need this to make a byte promo object. So then it did some narcs stuff, which actually didn't work for me. So and then you can, it's a conversation, right? This is what I really like about ChatGPT. When you do Google, it's a one search and it doesn't have that state. And here you can just constantly refer back to previous things you or the model has said, right? So then I got an updated version to make this a string, but then it dawned on me, well, actually, these promos are only valid for a certain number of days. So the real interface should be to give it a number of days that the promo is valid. So I just set like little change, expiration date is position. Is position. Okay, I'm not sure what I meant there, but and it's the day of the promo. So make that an int and default it to 10 days. So it updated again. And now this is an int argument and it defaults to 10. And again, I will show you how I still tweak that a little bit to make it more to my liking. The rest of the code is the same. So then I pasted that boilerplate code and I just made a few tweaks. Some are just contextual to the platform, and you kind of really blame ChatGPT for that. It didn't have that context of the code base, right? So that's, again, a tip, like go back and forth, really get to the right boilerplate, but then also, yeah, then of course tweak it to your needs and make it more robust. And there are a few things I changed, right? So for example, the default here, I made that a constant. So actually settled on 7 and made that a constant uppercase, which is just better. And yeah, and this was purely contextual to the platform, because the byte primary key ID is not necessarily the integer of the exercise. So I did a little bit of a list comprehension to match the byte number, so that number is a property on the byte ID that the user gives in, right? And then I do this assert that this always has to be 1. If there's multiple matches, then fail, because then you cannot really proceed. Now, beyond this point, you know it's 1, so then you just take the first element of that list. And yeah, then I actually hit an error that when I would make the same promo twice, let's actually look at the model quickly. As you can see, the code or the slug of the promo is unique, right? So if you try to make 2 promos with the same code, it will fail, right? So you get that, you get an integrity error, right? So I used a little bit of it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, to just try it and then handle the exception. And then, so, or it fails, and then, the script just fails out with a standard error, or it succeeds, and then we have a new promo object, and then I have a property on that with the promo link. That's just convenience to show the actual link that we would then give to the users, right? So yeah, that's just 3 changes, right? After the ChatGPT boilerplate, so I made a constant. I had to do a little bit of extra logic in context of our platform code base, and I actually hit an exception. Now, maybe ChatGPT could have known that about the exception, because I did tell it in my initial question that the code field was unique. So it could have anticipated that, but still, it's really impressive that it already could give me this boilerplate. So hope that inspires you, that this actually obviously saved me quite some time, and that you can really use it to get that initial version. But then also, it's not a panacea, right? You still have to iterate and come up with the final version. So let's actually run this then as well. So let's also give you guys a free byte. Why not, right? So I go to the random endpoint. So just to explain that a little bit, you can go through the exercises one by one. But if you really want to just have a random exercise to work on, you can use the random endpoint. Well, I already promised this one, right? So you get, I got this on the first go. I got this random calculate the number of months passed. There's not a freebie tag in this, so it's definitely a premium byte. So let's use that as a model to make a free promotion. So let's actually run this. So Python manage.py promo, but that would run it locally. So I actually want to run it against the production instance. I can do that like this. Oh, and then of course, well, let's actually run it without arguments. It should, it should show the help messages. Probably faster if I show the help locally. But yeah, this will do. So the following arguments are required: code and byte ID. Set expiration date is still not a required argument. That might need fixing still. It doesn't, because as it's, I should remember maybe. It has a default, right? So if I don't specify the expiration dates, then by default it will be 7. And the code is PyBytes YouTube, and the byte number is 144. And now it should make a promotion link that will last for 1 week. Yeah, there you go. And in the meantime, I logged in because that's required. So let's try out that link. And it says you're already a premium member, keep enjoying. So if I would be a free user, then of course it would have redeemed that exercise. All right, hope this is helpful. So you saw me use ChatGPT to write boilerplate code to make a Django command. You saw me iterating, pair programming almost with the ChatGPT and adding some extra things on top of it based on the existing code base I was using in it based on my experience. And you got a free bite you can go solve, which I will link below. So I hope this is helpful. And tomorrow we'll probably do some Vim. But yeah, there's a lot of Python planned out for this week as well. Have a great week. Thanks for watching.